Okay, we are live. Okay, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
My name is Sharon Marie Chester. I'm a social worker. And this is C, my friend. And we've been having a lot of discussions about race and racism. And I think it would be fair to say that you were relatively unwoke when we met.
Yeah,
Would you
true.
agree with that?
True.
What would you say about that? Where were you at?
I was at the point before I met you, I didn't think about nothing really, just things went on like it was. I didn't really take initiative. I didn't take initiative and to pay more attention to the things. But since I met you, you have opened my eyes much better, and I can see the difference between racism and pretty much a lot of things.
It's so hidden that you don't pay attention to it. If you're not looking for it, it'd be easy to ignore it, or once you are. But some of the discussions we've had is that I think that you have internalized a lot of racism.
Yeah.
And of course, racism, for those who are watching and don't know, only goes one way, which is white people against black people, because they have the whole society backing up the power and the white supremacy thing. So people who are black cannot be racist, but they can internalize the whitewashing, the racism that we do to them, and the institutions are doing to them. So one of our discussions came up yesterday, or today, about this, and I'm challenging C as to whether this is internalized racism, or I could use some, more education on my understanding of things. And so the example that he gave is where he tends to grab. I've accused him of tap dancing. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, all the time. But
okay.
I don't consider tap dancing.
Okay.
I kind of consider it as trying to, I guess my term, fit in where I get in. I try to do the right things by everybody. I try to do the right things by everybody. So,
So just tell me the example you came up with.
Today I drew this little chart up, and we had this discussion about parties, like, for instance, that this is a white people's party, it's a black people's party. And the reason why I came up with this, with white people, if you go to a party, because I've been to quite a few, had a great time. Did the same thing that most black people do. Well, you'll have a 0% chance of no shooting or fighting. Okay. A couple of black parties I've been to doing the same thing, drinking. As the night goes on and progresses, 75% chance of shooting and fighting normally is at black parties.
You can't talk there and they're not going to hear you. You have to talk over there.
Normally, I would prefer to go to a white party. And the discussion that we're having is that what you said was it?
Internalizing racism?
Internalizing racism. So,
because you said if you could choose between going to a white party, a white people party, and a black people party, you're going to go to the white people party. Because you think that 75% chance that any given black person party, there's going to be shooting.
Or fight.
What kind of black people are you hanging around?
Well, that's another question that I need to answer for you. I'm not actually saying that, if you went to a Christian party or you just went to...
What about a Christian? Are you saying when you say the word Christian party, am I supposed to assume that you're meaning a white party?
No,
Okay.
Well, let me go back and say this. Going to a black party, and you have black people who some have that ghetto mentality, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, as a black person, they get ignorant, and they want to fight and fuss about any small thing that really doesn't matter.
And you're talking about who in general?
A black party.
Black people.
Yeah, well, black people party.
Okay. See, my perspective is that anytime anybody says anything negative about black people as a whole group of people, it's internalized racism. Because you can't just say, because you keep saying, yeah, but white people, it might be because you said earlier, it might be a white Christian party, it might be a white this party, white that party, but, so you give white people lots of latitude, whereas black people...
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. Most white parties that I go to, white people I hang with or whatever.
They got white thugs? You don't hang with the white thugs, huh?
I know some.
Okay.
You know?
You go to their parties?
No.
Okay.
You know, I'm not in the party, but...
Do you know black people who aren't going to have a 75%? Do you go to those parties?
As me, at this point, I haven't been to one. You know, most parties I go to is, I mean, they could be anybody. There's, you know, it's black people, they drinking and smoking weed, they, you know, they fussing about them. What happened?
Black people have been smoking weed and thugging down, and white people don't do that.
But if they do, it's more calm. You don't see it. It's not.
It's not scrutinized.
Well, maybe that's
as much. It's not being, you know, when the only other, the people who are scrutinizing the frog in the table is the only other, you know, suspect. There's a problem.
Yeah.
Because they get to form the narrative. They get to, you know, there's that African saying that the tales of the hunt, the glory of the hunt is always going to be told from the perspective of the hunter because they got to shoot the hunted. Okay, so you get to hear all these glorious stories about the hunter. You don't get to hear about the lions. So they say it's not told, but the lions have exhumed their historians now. So we can't keep secrets about black history and how white people have erased black history, erased your identity. And because of the way slavery was set up to break the back of the black family, emasculate the men, separate the high yellow from the dark-skinned folks, the mothers from the children, the husbands from the wives, the whole thing is still going on all the time. And I see this as part and parcel of Willie Lynch still trying to get you over here to keep you away from them. Because you would do something positive.
See, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I'm not against my color. As you can see, I'm black. And I'm not against my race. I'm just against the things that they do. And I have tried to make a difference. I guess I didn't put enough emphasis on it. So I said, well, what the heck? I'm going to go over here with these white people. And I know they're going to act civilized and sensible, but they're not going to be wilding out, shooting, getting drunk, falling down.
Something else I've challenged you on is you know how to manipulate white people really well. You're very good at it. You're not so good at manipulating black people. Because you're afraid that they're going to catch on to what you're doing. And you're going to lose respect.
I can't really say that. I'm like, once again, I say I choose to be around people that's
white.
Well, not necessarily got to be white, but if you civilize, you act like you got some sense and some kind of decency.
Don't they have parties?
Yeah, but the parties that they go to before the night is over with, someone done got drunk and getting stupid. There's going to be a fight, and then it could escalate to a shooting.
Okay.
When the white parties I've been to, most of the people, they may be drunk, but you will never really know it.
Okay, so you see black people as being more violent than white people?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
To what do you attribute that? Why do you think that is?
Because I think it could come from the lack of education, you know?
That what?
And, you know, their upbringing. Their upbringing. It could be the upbringing. They used to being around, you know, this. So they feel like they got a chip on their shoulder and they want to be badass and, you know, and then any little thing someone said they want to.
And are they different from white people in that way?
Most white people in this situation, when things arouse, they have a way of trying to compromise and talk it out without going to get a gun or throwing the first punch.
And part of that is because we live in so much privilege and comfort of our quality of life that we were born into because of generations of our family wealth has not been stolen.
Bam.
Okay, so you come up with generations of your familial wealth having been stolen, your history having been stolen, and when you strip, Malcolm X said, if you strip the community of every resource for the community to raise itself up, that's what you leave them to. So when you come at it from the perspective of black people are this way, you also need to throw in about, what is normal? And I give an example sometimes that they took a dog and they put this dog in a box. And there was a one-way mirror in the box. So the animal didn't never see people. Okay, and they did an experiment on this dog. And every time this dog would perform a bodily function, like fall asleep, they would shock it. Every time it would go to eat or drink, they would shock it. Every time it went to the bathroom, they would shock it. Okay, just for functioning normally. So when they finally opened the box, after torturing this creature for I don't know how long, the dog growled and snapped and looked like it was going to rip anybody's throat out, and they presented it to a group of people and said, diagnose this dog. Now, what is that dog? You know what that dog is? Normal. That dog's normal, but that dog's going to get a label on it of being some wild, vicious thug of an animal.
Yeah. So
you can focus on that's a wild, vicious animal, and I can see that it is behaving in that way. But unless you address the crap that it was dealing with, you're going to be having a whole lot of mad dogs.
Well, that's why I try to instill in people, black people, that down the line someone must have to break their cycle. Because they constantly keep right on living the same thing after one generation, after another generation. Someone must break it. For a prime example, if a black kid, father was an alcoholic, was a drug addict, sold drugs, mom was a prostitute, sold drugs and everything, what does it leave for that black kid to do? He gonna portray that, because that's the image.
Okay, but I don't want you to blame the parents. Because what opportunities did they have that put them in a situation? And I hate, what's the excuse then of black people who had wonderful parents, black parents with college degrees, who raised them right, who still go off that way? You can't blame the parents. It's the whole society.
I guess maybe in a case like that, think about it, maybe 1 out of 5 may do that.
Do what?
They may that have the great parents and go to college and everything.
That's the same thing.
And then they can go straight. They can go and do what they would say thug life.
Right. And what are the 4 out of 5 that didn't make it? What are they?
The 4 out of 5 that didn't make it is normally ones that's going to end up selling drugs.
Okay. How do we
going to jail.
How do we change it? What has to happen?
Well, it has to start within the black family as a whole, to my opinion, and a lot of times it's gonna take other communities, in the community to work with each other, children. So if the way I was brought up, if I went to your house and I did something, and your mom could whip my butt, she said, well, I'm going to call your grandmother and tell her what you did. I probably tell her, don't call my grandma. I already take it with me. You're going to get me. Because when I get home, she's going to tie my ass up. So if we could go back as a community and stop loving one another and being watchful, watch each other backs.
Yeah.
I think it may make a difference.
It has to.
You know what I mean? If
so what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to continue to get more literature and listen to your advice. That's why I'm here right now to, you know, to learn.
Tap dance.
You know what I mean? To learn, you know what I mean? So you gave me the option to come on your show to be me, you know, and say what comes to mind, you know. You know, I'm kind of nervous, y'all. I'm not really a camera person. So, you know,
You're not a camera person when you're being real. You're fine on a camera when you're doing your thing. You know, you love that kind of, but it's a matter of getting into real talk that's been more challenging. You're hard with that. It's hard for you, but you're working on that because you've been dealing with some issues of your own.
Yeah, I do. And speaking of that, well, you know, I went to treatment, and because I have a long ways to go too. You know, the pot can't call the kettle black, but I'm looking at myself. If I can step outside who I am and see life in a different perspective, and if I could do it, and I know what I've been through and dealt with, you know, I've been to jail, I've been to prison, I've been humiliated by the white police officers. Thank God it didn't kill me, but I have had guns drawn down on me. I've been maced. I think I ain't been tased, but would never happen. But I can understand some of the things that the kids go through today. And it's hard work. You know, I lost a lot of friends in the streets, and, you know, we was out there selling drugs, doing our thing. By the grace of God, I made it. So if I made it, if I'm one out of 5 of my friends that may be still here, I want to be able to reach out to this generation that's under me and with and still the things with and still the things in this generation that's younger than me, so they can with and still it in the generation that comes below them.
So where are you in that process?
So I'm at this process. I'm about to go back to treatment because I got out of treatment. I was thinking that I was in control. Remember, I'm not perfect. So I'm going back. Not only does the treatment teaches you.
Tell them what treatment.
Well, it's substance abuse treatment. Not only does it teach you to stay sober and clean, it also gives you knowledge